Well, welcome. My name is Kate Harmon, and I'm the Director of Cross-Campus Engagement for the Lundquist Center for Entrepreneurship. And I'm really excited today in our Getting Ahead series to talk to Shaun Smerling. Shaun is a UO graduating senior who has developed his own dropshipping business. And so he's going to share with us a little bit of how he started his dropshipping business and some of the digital marketing skill sets that he's been able to learn along the way. So welcome, Shaun. Shaun, can you tell us a little bit about what your major, minor is right now?
Yeah, of course. Well, first off, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Currently, my major is economics, and my minor is business and entrepreneurship. So I was actually initially a business major, but kind of switched over to economics, so I could just focus elsewhere. And still, the minor in business and entrepreneurship is great. So focusing on that as well.
Awesome. As before we get into talking about how you started your dropshipping business, can you talk about like some of your interests or activities that you've done over your 4 years here at the University of Oregon?
Yeah, so I was actually, I didn't follow the instructions that they tell you at the beginning of the year when you're a freshman and join everything. I kind of like stuck to like my one friend group, stuck to everything like that. And then towards my sophomore years of where I really branched out, I didn't join any groups per se. I sort of just kind of followed my own interests, and then those interests led to people who were in groups. And now like I speak to Will a lot, who is, he operates a lot with the Entrepreneurship Center and the club as well, and all that stuff. But yeah, so far it's been great networking with a lot of people. It's funny how I'm doing that more towards the tail end of my college career, but it's been great, and so far I've just been a lot of great people that are doing the same thing.
That's great. Well, you have built a really amazing drop shipping business over the last year, and I know that having had you in a class, so that your business is generating tens of thousands of dollars in sales per month. You've been able to build this business using really key digital marketing skills that you've actually self-learned. Before we get into sort of how you built this business, can you share with us a little bit about what drop shipping is and what made you want to get into this type of area?
Yeah, so basically, dropshipping is just a business model where you have sort of a website that sells products, and initially, people will buy the product, and you get to choose whether to have it stored in a warehouse or just tell your supplier to ship it. Now, if you store it in a warehouse, that brings all the complications of having a warehouse, getting your supplier to ship it beforehand. But with dropshipping, it's more along the lines of like someone purchases from you, then you tell your supplier to ship. So you don't hold any inventory, and to me, that appealed to me because of the fact that holding inventory causes a lot of problems. I actually started selling on Amazon, and when you start selling on Amazon, they have a program called FBA where they will hold your inventory. And I learned from that experience that I didn't really like that. I'd like to drop ship initially, and then the next step would be to order inventory in advance. And that's kind of what I'm doing in some parts of my business right now. But overall, drop shipping is just, it's very lean, gets you started real quick. And that's what appealed to me initially.
Awesome. So you got into dropshipping through Amazon. Like, what even made you want to kind of explore that? Have you always been sort of entrepreneurial, or like what made you take that big leap to actually, start something on Amazon?
Yeah, so I was actually just really interested in how people can just put up their products on Amazon and sort of like start selling that and create their own brand around it. Like the branding part was awesome. So I got to go ahead and create the logo, create the packaging, stuff like that. So with Amazon, that's kind of how I started. And I see dropshipping as kind of a step down from that, because you really don't brand at all with dropshipping. You just find a product that sells, and then you help just supply it and market it, etc. So like initially when I got started with Amazon, it was sort of just out of pure interest to see like, okay, does this actually work? Ended up making a little bit of money, nothing too crazy. But when I switched to dropshipping is when I started to see the real success. And it helped out a lot that I kind of went that full circle where I started on Amazon first and then went to dropshipping, because I learned skills that really actually helped me when I started this business model that I wouldn't have had in the beginning.
That's great. How do you actually determine what type of products to sell?
Yeah, so I go through a very rigorous process. In dropshipping, it's well known to just start like testing any product and see what works and what doesn't. But for me, I've had kind of a good record of starting products and having them all kind of work out. So I stay very selective. And what I really look for is just a lot of sales volume currently. I'll check Google Trends to see if the product's trending upwards. And then also the supply side is really key. If you have a product that's awesome, sells well, but it takes like 30 days to ship, to me, that's not a product I'm going to sell, because I know that people right now, they get it really good with Amazon. They get it shipped really quickly. So I have to do the same, or else they're just not going to buy the product from me again. And repeat customers are extremely, extremely important to get your sales to grow past six figures.
Very cool. What kind of products have you ended up selling?
Yeah, so I've sold a lot of health and wellness products. That's kind of my favorite niche. Things like anything to do with, like, I once sold a back corrector, back posture corrector, an acupressure mat. I sold a lot of things for like lower back pain, stuff like that. Just because with these type of products, they convert a lot easier because they help people, like they actually solve a specific problem. Whereas if you have something like the fidget spinner, that doesn't really solve a problem, but it gets a lot of sales, but only quite quickly. Like it trended for 3 months and that's it. But I know a guy that made 500 grand within those 3 months just off that one fidget spinner. So yeah, I really go after, like, my niche is health and wellness just because I've seen it work time and time again, and so I just stick to that.
That's awesome. I know that dropship shipping success is really dependent on understanding your one's sales funnel, so that you can maximize your digital marketing efforts.
Mhm.
How do you develop your digital marketing skills? I mean, what kind of things did you do in terms of tools or platforms did you have to learn before you really started to understand your own sales funnel?
Yeah, so when you're drop shipping a product, what you're really doing is just marketing really well. Because everything else, people will sell the same product. Even in today's age, all these big brands, they're sort of selling the same product, but they're marketing it very different. So I kind of went in full fledged, just learning marketing, email marketing, Google ads, Facebook ads, and you can learn all this from YouTube. And like there's websites like Udemy and everything like that. These, like, if we talk about the investment of these websites and these courses, they're nothing compared to what we pay for school, but in some cases you can get more value out of them. So I did that first, and then I actually found out through just trial and repetition that Facebook ads was really the thing you need to focus on. And then from there, I just spent a lot of money to learning, listening to mentors, getting coached, stuff like that, and then also doing it myself and spending a lot of money. And that's when I started to see great results, is when I just honed in on that one thing.
Awesome. You mentioned Facebook ads. Why is Facebook such a useful platform in this kind of area?
Yeah, so Facebook is unique in the sense that everybody sort of has a Facebook. Some people might not have Instagram or Snapchat, but they definitely have a Facebook. And with Facebook, it can target so many people, and it can actually find data sources about them that make it really, really efficient for you to find your consumer. So let's say I'm selling a dog product and I want to find people who own dogs. It makes it very easy for me to do that. And Facebook knows that. That's why they're one of the biggest companies in the world. It's because they sell data. And with Facebook, you can also just get really minute about your details, and it grows over time. So the more money you spend with Facebook, the better results you'll get. So if you're going to learn any income generating skill, Facebook would be my recommendation. So a good example is one of the coffee shops here that I go to regularly. The owner right now, he's closed down, everything like that. But me and him now do Facebook ads for his coffee sales online, and his sales have been booming online now. So that skill that I never thought would relate to this coffee shop scenario is now helping him a lot. And it's because I had that skill initially. So that's helped me. And that can be applied to any sort of business model.
That's great. I know that you actually maintain and run several dropshipping e-commerce sites right now. What kind of activities do you have to do to maintain growth? And when do you actually decide when it's time to focus your attention on something new?
Yeah, so I go about like two different models. I'll have one model where it's sort of a niche store. So I'll sell products with under one umbrella. So like you could say a fitness store. And then my second type of store will be branded. Like that is where I go all in. That is what I'm trying to like exit out of in a couple of years. And I'm starting to get into that now. But when you're scaling a drop shipping store and you really want to go past six figures, the real key is to outsource everything. So you have to outsource your customer service. You have to create supplier relationships. You have to get someone to manage all the comments on Facebook posts and everything like that. Because if you don't outsource that, you can only really grow in proportion to the amount of time you actually spend on it. But if you have other employees doing the work for you, then you can focus on the one thing, which again is always going to be Facebook marketing, because that's what gets you the sales. So I realized growing past six figures was all about outsourcing. And then from there, getting even bigger and bigger, it's just about like creating systems and processes to help boost your sales. That's pretty much it.
I know we had a conversation once where you were sharing how, right now you're so efficiently optimized that
Mhm.
it may only take, you need to take like 30 minutes a day to sort of maintain, a particular product line. Is that still the case?
Yeah, so I kind of like to get it to the point where I'm only putting 30 minutes an hour a day. And you can get to that point if you optimize everything, and you'll also obviously lose a percentage of the profit if you hire other people. But what you gain back is time, and that time is really, really valuable. So right now we're at a good point at the store where I sort of go in every day and message my employees, and I also look at the ads myself and manage it. And that also gives me time to start new ventures kind of related to that. Which is something that I've always wanted to do. I don't want to do drop shipping forever, although it's great for cash flow. But yeah, that definitely frees up a lot of time, and it helps me just creating those systems to actually work on other things and other interests as well.
I know that you now have another business, CP Visions Inc., where you're
Mhm.
advising other e-commerce founders on their digital marketing strategies. What are some of the main challenges that you think small business owners have around digital marketing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I started SB Visions just because of the fact that I realized a lot of small business owners, they weren't doing Facebook ads as much as they should. And I saw from my own experience how Facebook ads can really expedite growth. And I was like, well, if I can do it with these products that aren't branded at all, then these small businesses that put so much effort into their community and brand, they really just need Facebook to help expedite the process. So with small business owners, the biggest challenge really is to get them over the hump that Facebook is what they need. They'll spend a little money here or there, but they're reluctant to spend a lot of money. And you also have to get them in the right mindset. So like earlier today, I was talking with a client who's in the meal kit delivery service industry. So anything to do with food delivery. And initially that might not have been my interest to kind of target in terms of outreach. But now with this whole thing going on, food delivery, that industry is popping off extremely well. So these owners are more inclined to actually commit to Facebook ads and advertising for a high fee. And that's what's happening right now. So you just kind of have to tailor it to that small business owner's needs, but also realize that they don't know a lot about it. So you kind of want to come off as like informing rather than just knowing more than them. And then from there, I always try to say like, I give my advice, I help them out. If they don't want to work together, that's totally fine, but I'm here if they need me.
That's
You gotta develop the relationship. You can't just want the sale.
wonderful. Um, if a student like wanted to get into drop shipping, like what would
Mhm.
be some of the first things you would recommend that they do?
Yeah, so awesome thing with dropshipping is there's so many videos online that you can watch. Um, the thing I recommend that they do is I feel like when I first started, the thing that helped me out a lot was just case studies. You know, watching the case studies about people go from 0 to 200,000 to 300,000, how they did it, how they found the product, and they go through every single process. All the logistical details that can all be learned through just trial and error, but it's really the process of how you set up the business that matters and when you get the sale. So to anyone wanting to start, I'd say go on YouTube and type up case studies for dropshipping stores and watch all these case studies and learn about actual practical, real businesses and what they went through. And then try to reverse engineer that. Just go work backwards, see what they did, and try to do the same.
That's great. Well, I know that, and we'll wrap this up here. I know that you're about ready to graduate here this June.
Mhm.
What do you think you have learned in your own business development that will translate into your job search? Like what kind of jobs are you looking for now? And how do you think having done all of the things that you've done is going to give you a leg up, especially in this sort of uncertain economic climate?
Yeah, definitely. So I've kind of been bad with the job search. I haven't done any internships. My mom hates that. But for me, like I've always been really adamant on the fact that I feel like I can be malleable and learn any skill that I need to pursue my own interests. So with the job search, I've actually done a lot of like, I've been very interested for a very long time in working for big technology companies like Tesla and everything like that. But I don't have those little practical skills. So right now, when I search for jobs, I'm searching for more like mentorship, just like working a job and where I get to learn from someone that knows a way more about me. Yeah, you had Adam on before, and that's perfect. Someone who goes out and networks with tons of people, and that's how you really learn, is learning from these people, and again, reverse engineering what they did correctly. So like the skills I have now, it really helps me become like a better employee if I were to work for a job, because of the fact that I know I have confidence in my ability to learn. And being a good employee means like being able to learn on the fly, being able to adapt and grow for the company. So it's helped me a lot. It's also brought me, to actually overcome challenges. Where it's like, if you're doing that every day, if you're trying to solve problems every day, you're going to be a better problem solver. At the end of the day, and that all starts with trying to challenge yourself in the first place, which is what I've tried to do with the businesses, and it's worked out pretty well.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Shaun, for sharing your story. Shaun
Yeah, of
Smerling,
course.
senior here at telling us a little bit more about drop shipping and digital marketing. Thanks, Shaun.
Thank you.